It's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to play Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond. This is a 3-chord song, and it's 3 pretty easy basic chords, just A, D, and E, and there's a strumming pattern. You know, there's a couple strumming patterns, one for the verse, one for the chorus, and there's also that intro thing, the like... And before we get started, I need to mention, if you want to play along with the original recording, which I highly recommend, that's how you're going to get the whole song together. That's the test. You know, if you can play along with the original recording, you can play the song. Now, if you want to do that, you have to put a capo on the 2nd fret. You know, if you want to play along with the recording and without a capo, you have to use bar chords like a B chord, F sharp, but the capo turns those into really easy chords, and that's what we're going to be doing for this lesson. And if along the way you find that you need help, I have a few resources. There's my free ebooks, one of them on rhythm guitar, one of them on lead guitar, and there's also my premium beginners course. So take a moment to check those out if you need any help getting through the basics. Either way, we're going to start off with the chord shapes, and our first chord is A. Then we switch to a D chord. And then there's an E chord. So that's it. Those are the only 3 chords in this entire song. Now let's take a moment to work out the switches, to make sure we can switch through these quickly and efficiently. There's our A chord. And to switch to D, a really good tip is to leave your 3rd finger down, slide it up to the 3rd fret, and then complete your D shape. Now it's a bit easier than just like starting from scratch every time. And then when you're going from D back to A, you just leave that 3rd finger down, slide it back down, and go to the A chord. So it's worth it to take a moment to just kind of work that out, start building up that muscle memory. We're also going to be switching from A to E. So for that one, I have my A chord. I take off my 1st finger, and then I move these 2 fingers over to where they are on the E chord, and then I finish my E shape. And the reverse to go back. For E to D, you start off on your E chord, leave your 1st finger down, slide it up 1 fret, complete your D shape. And the reverse, you know, leave your 1st down, go back. So those are just some tips for making the switches more efficient. Work on that if you have trouble with the switches. Otherwise, we're going to practice strumming through them. Downstrokes only. We're keeping the rhythm really simple. We're just going to work out the chord order for the verse. Starting off on A. 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch to D. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Back to A. And then we go to E. One more time. So those are the chords for the verse. Make sure you can play them just like that, switching cleanly, downstrokes only. And when you're ready, we can take a look at the strumming pattern, which is quite simple. This is what it goes like. Yeah, so that's just 4 downstrokes like we were just doing. The real difference is in how I'm playing it. Can you hear the difference between these two? Here's one way of doing it. And then the other way. So the difference is whether it's ringing out, you know, it just keeps ringing out, or if I do nice short strums. And the way that I accomplish the short strums, whether you're using your fingers or a pick, it doesn't really matter. You strum, and then you rotate your hand to stop the strings. I'm just muting them. I'm doing it lightly. So it's really 2 motions. We're going down, mute, down, mute. So just work on that, and it might take a while before you can do it quickly enough to get the exact sound. And you could always just do that, or use the other strumming pattern that we're going to be using for the rest of the song. Either way, let's practice that over the chords. You know, this is what I would do during the verse. starting off on A. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, D. A, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So you can keep going through that until you can get that feel for it. And when you're ready, we can take a look at the pre-chorus, which is super simple. It starts off on A, and from there we go to A6. And I know I said this is a 3-chord song, but check this out. So I have my A chord, then I just add one more finger to the 2nd fret on the highest string. That makes an A6 chord. You could also do it just like this, just barring those 4 strings, but that's kind of tough. You know, this is a really straightforward way to do it. And then from there, we go to E, then we go to D, and then back to E. And there's a different strumming pattern for this part too, and this is the pattern that we're going to be using for everything else except for the verse. And you totally could use it for the entire song as well. Anyways, the pattern goes like this. And that's the most common strumming pattern ever. It's just down, down, up, down, up. I have a video covering it. It's called Essential Strumming Pattern number 2. You can find it on my channel. I'll put a link down below. But I'll just quickly go over it. It starts off going down, down, up. And then the second half is miss, up, down, up. Miss, up, down, up. And when you put that all together, you get down, down, up, miss, up, down, up. And if you're having trouble getting the rhythm together for things like this, the real secret is counting things out. You always count out 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just keep repeating that over and over again. Get used to doing that first. That's the first thing. If you can't count out loud, you're gonna have a really hard time getting your rhythm together. So that's where you should start. It's just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and over again, and 3 and 4. And then you add the strokes where needed. So 1 and 2 and you can just go that far. Go as slow as you need to. 1 and 2 and miss and 4 and. You know, that's what I would do if you're really having trouble with this. Also check out that video where I go over this pattern. I explain it for like 5 minutes straight. Anyways, that's our pattern. Those are our chords. We're gonna do this strumming pattern 2 times over each chord in the pre-chorus. So if you're not ready yet, just watch me play through it. You could always rewind and then try it with me later. Here we go, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Touching hands, reaching Cool, so that's the pre-chorus. So far we've done the verse and the pre-chorus. Next is the chorus, and it's pretty simple. It's just chords in a strumming pattern like we just did. Same chords, same strumming pattern. The one thing you might want to pay attention to is how many times you're strumming each chord, because it's not just like 2 times each in the pre-chorus. For this part, we're going to do the A chord once, then we're going to strum the D chord 3 times, and then the E chord 2 times. And then for the second half, we strum the A chord once, the D chord 3 times, so it starts off the same way. And then it's a little bit different here. It goes like this. So that's all based off the E chord. I'm just strumming an E shape. And then I put my pinky here on the 3rd fret of the B string. That makes an E7 chord. Then I lower it by 1 fret, makes an E6 chord. Then I take it off and strum it again. And instead of doing that, you could just strum an E chord 2 times with the strumming pattern. Once again, I'm going to play through the whole thing nice and slow. You can just watch me do it, then you can rewind it and try it yourself. Here we go, starting off on A once again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sweet Caroline, ba, ba, ba. Good times never felt so good. See how that ending bit is like a nice little cool down to go back into the verse, which is a lot quieter than the chorus. Anyways, the only other part left to learn is that intro bit, which is also used as a bridge. So we play like the verse, pre-chorus, chorus, then we do that all again, and then we play the intro bit, you know, near the end of the song, just so that there's not like 8 choruses at the end. It kind of breaks it up. Anyways, I'll play it for you in its entirety, really slowly. It goes like this. 3, 4. So this is pretty simple as long as you remember one thing. Your thumb is just playing the time. Your thumb is just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The whole time it's just playing steadily like that. And then when you're plucking the notes, it either happens at the same time that you pluck your thumb with your thumb, or it happens between. So the melody note is either going to happen with the thumb or between the thumb strokes. Anyways, let's break it down. The first part that I want you to learn goes like this. Like I said before, your thumb is just plucking the low notes the whole time. That's the low string. And for the melody note, you're going 0, 2, 3 on the B string. And you can use any finger you want. You could even do it holding a pick with these fingers and then plucking with your middle finger or your ring finger. You know, really whatever you want to do. Anyways, we go 0, 2, 3. So that's ascending. You know, our melody, if you listen to it, it's going up. And then we do that ascending and descending. So 0, 2, 3, 2, 0. And then we do it descending. 3, 2, 0. So just take a look at the screen and just work your way through that melody. It's really important that you kind of memorize it before you put it together with the thumb, you know, because we're gonna have to focus on some rhythm stuff, not just the notes. Anyways, once you have that, we can start to put it together with the thumb. And like I said before, all you got to think about is whether it is at the same time as the thumb or if it's in between. So this very first note happens with the thumb. Then this one happens between. And then this last note, this 3rd fret, happens with the thumb. So just work on that, just going. See how my thumb is plucking with the first note and the last note. So thumb, thumb. Just work that out. And then moving on, we pluck beat 3 with our thumb. And then we do that again. Together, separate, together. So far, this is what we have. And now we would just pluck the 2nd fret and then open with the thumb. You can see how it lines up. That's the most important part. And then we finish off by going. So we pluck this one at the same time, separate, together. So take your time with that, making sure that you're just plucking steadily with your thumb. And it either happens with or between thumb strokes. Now the next bit, as far as the rhythm's concerned, it's the same. So if you get really good at playing this first part, it's not going to be too difficult to go to the next part, which goes like this. So there, the melody notes are 3, that's on the B string, then 0 on the E string, and then 2 on the E string. And it has the same pattern. You ascend, then you ascend and descend, and then you just descend. And it goes with the thumb the exact same way. The first bit, together, separate, together. Then you pluck just your thumb, and then you do that again, together, separate, together, separate, together, and then together, separate, together. And if you're really still having trouble with this, I recommend just practicing it in 3 bits, going and just getting that coordination together, then going, doing that part a few times, and then the last bit. And now the last part goes like this. So our melody notes are 2, 4, 5 on the highest string. And it goes the same way. Together, just the melody note, together. And then here it's a little bit different. We're just gonna ascend, and then we just hold the notes. So from here on out, it's actually pretty simple. 5 with the thumb, then we play the thumb on its own, then we go to 4 with the thumb on its own. Then on the B string, 2, 0. So I'll do this last part really slowly. 1, 2, 1, 2. So now I'm gonna play through the whole thing super duper slowly. You can try playing along, or you can just watch this and, figure it out and then rewind it and try it yourself. Here we go, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's all the bits of this song. Now, to assemble it, you start off with that. That's the intro, and it's optional, Then you play the verse, which is just, that strumming pattern. Then you do the pre-chorus, touching hands, that part. The chorus, do that all again. Play this intro bit one more time, and then you finish with the chorus as many times as you want until your friends are tired of singing. So that's how you play Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond. Once again, if you need help with any of the aspects of this lesson, I have a ton of resources. There's some really good free resources, my ebook for rhythm and for lead guitar. There's my premium stuff, my beginner's course, which takes you through all the basics. So please check those out if you need any extra help. Otherwise, have a good one, and I'll see you soon.